Okay, well, I've been doing it. I've been a good boy. I've been writing my novel one little innocent word at a time. This is how it goes. I wake up at 5 a.m., I come down here to the desk, I light the candles, and out it flows, longhand. I've gone and done it. I've written it all down. The ink ain't going back in that pen. The blood's on the carpet now. I'm fucked. It's one thing to have internal dialogue and ideas and thoughts that remain inside your head. It's another thing to write them all down for the world to see. Now I've got 100 pages and it's time to check the dipstick. I'm going to type out these 100 pages and read them back. Gas up, stretch the legs, buy some corn nuts and coffee. Look at the map for a second before I peel out and lay rubber across another 100 pages. I also picked up some reading material. I saw on the new releases shelf at the bookstore, there was this cover. It was a cascading name, Rosenfeld, from black, brown to pink. And it called to me. Yes, I judged a book by its cover, and I took it down and I read a couple of random pages. And I said, oh shit, something's going on here. So I bought it and I read it. And I called the author, who lives in the far, far away Holy Land, and we spoke about books and life and doing the impossible. Can you hear me?
Look at you. I don't get to speak to you off the record for 1 minute. Disgusting. I'm disgusted.
Well, at least we started with that, with some disgust right up. How are you?
Great, how are you?
I'm alive.
You're alive.
Yeah.
Look at you, so alive.
It counts. It's a good starting point, I think.
Right. I'm not sure about it yet, but let me get
Okay.
I didn't feel like one day I will publish a book. I didn't grow up thinking that. So I didn't go on this, on this, how you call it, in the factory.
Yes.
I didn't go on these things that make it easier. That then afterwards you do that and you didn't. So I had to find and carve my own way. And when you write, you believe it's going to happen. You have to believe. You really believe. This time it's going to be that. That's it. That's for sure. I'm right. Yeah? And it's happening. I need to do something that will be, that is not dependent on other people. But then I didn't know if it's good enough to publish it because I don't read. I had no clue if it's shit or something. Then I send it to all the big and medium-sized publishers, 11.
Mm-hmm.
And I eventually received 11 no's.
Okay.
It took a year. So nobody believed in it, and it could not be, it's like, you're pregnant and you go to the ultrasound and they look and it's a unicorn, they tell you have to do an abortion. They're used to look at horses. And when they see a unicorn, they get afraid and they don't understand. But when it's out there, it's a unicorn.
Yes.
Oh, that's what it was. Speaking of impossible, right?
But you overcame the impossible, not because you didn't believe it was impossible. You were simply doing something.
I mean, what kept me going was I really had to look at it and see it as a book. So I made it as a book. I don't know if I have any of those here. Because the visual, to feel it, I wanted to see how it looks if it's a book, if it's a book.
And how did it feel when you printed it as a book?
It was amazing. Then I was like, okay, then there is a book, and then it was already something you can give to people to read. So I keep on going. But eventually, from the moment I start writing to the moment I publish, there are 6 years, Zach. And I never imagined that it would get that far, that it would be published for Simon and Schuster. It's unfucking believable. This book that everyone says no to, you know, like, because it was weird, because it was out, because it was, what is it? Yes. So, Zach, that's it. I'm leaving the yard.
Wait, hold on. Just 1 second. Now, this isn't a story about the content of the book that I'm writing or the content of the book that Maya wrote. It's about doing the impossible. But since we're here, let me read you the text that I sent to Maya after I finished reading her novel. I've been stomping around for the last few years cursing current fiction for being toothless, flat bullshit, pain in my ass, unbelievable, frightened, activist, nonsense, blah, blah, blah. I like to rant in real life. And please, Lord, deliver me a book that is rough and hard to write and straightforward and full of sex and complications. And there, you went and wrote it. That's my review. Oh, thank you so much for writing book.